Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I am embarking on a new challenge. Welcome to day 1 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. Slight disclaimer, I do need to spend a small amount of bells, more on that in a moment. Now I know what you're thinking, why 10 days, why not 30 days like everybody else? Well, maybe I don't want to be like everybody else, or maybe I just like to be difficult, who knows? So before we head off to the new island, let's go over a couple of things. Don't go anywhere, it won't take long, I promise. First things first, the rules. The wonderful, wonderful rules. Rule number 1. I cannot spend bells except for the following reasons. Buying the slingshot DIY, buying from Mabel, and buying the last 4 plots. Rule number 2, I can sell items to earn Nook miles. Rule number 3, I can use Nintendo Online but for custom designs only. Rule number 4, there will be no Happy Home Paradise, which won't be an issue because I don't have that on this Switch anyway. Now as for the goals, I only have 2. Complete the island and receive a 5-star rating. Now I do want to clarify that yes, this challenge was done in 10 days, but it was not done in 10 days in a row. One main reason for that is I simply just do not have the time. But let's not put it off any longer. I'm currently on a different Switch and just walking around a Nook Mile Island, so let's get started on our new adventure. Alright, so here we are at the airport, ready to choose an island. I wasn't too fussed to be honest, I just wanted to find an island that had resident services in a decent spot. Because I can't spend any bells, I can't buy any bridges or inclines, so I'm going to have to flatten everything. My goal for day 1 was pretty simple and reasonable, I think. I wanted to get a 3-star rating. I set my birthday to just a day or 2 later so that I could get my 2000 Nook miles. And I made my character look exactly the same as always. I got a really good island on my first go, so off I went. And then I left immediately. I got another good island second time around, and lucky for me, resident services is centered to the airport. I got pears as my native fruit, one of my least favorite. But the starters, oh my god, Goose and Quinn. Have I ever mentioned how much I hate the birds in this game? Side note, I say it all the time, how lucky am I? At least I got a yellow airport. I go and see Tom to get everything sorted. I have to be really careful about where I put the houses because I'm not going to be able to move them. I check out where Quinn and Goose are and then place my house behind resident services. I let Goose place his tent exactly where he was, and then I got Quinn's plot and I placed it just a little bit to the right of where she was. I see Tom and grab the branches and the fruit, and then it is time to get down to business. I need to name the island, and this time I am prepared. I have decided to name the island Clochette, which is French for little bell. A name that I thought was perfect for this island, seeing as I'm only going to be spending a very little amount of bells. Naturally, everybody loves my idea and Tom names me Island Representative. What a surprise. I grab my cot from Tom and then I turn in for the night. I am of course then rudely woken up by Tom screaming at me, which kind of like, the audacity, please. I listen to Tom ramble on and then I get the bill for my moving fees. I get cracking, straight away, doing all the bits and pieces I need to do to earn my 5,000 miles. While I'm going, I also grab a heap of branches for tools and go and see Tom for the DIY workshop. I sell a heap of things to Timmy to earn some Nook miles, and now that I've got some bells, I can buy the slingshot DIY. I check my Nook miles and I'm at 4,200. So I need to go around and do a couple of more things. I catch some bugs and fish for Tom while I'm at it, and pretty soon I'm up to the 5k that I need. I pay my moving fees and I upgrade to a house. I then give Tom the creatures so that I can pick a spot for Blathers. I had a bit of a think about it, but eventually decided to put it on the beach, and I'm not going to be upgrading it. I'm not sure if that's going to affect me getting a 5-star rating or not, but I guess we will find out soon enough. Once that was done, I spent a bit of time hitting my rocks, collecting wood and earning Nook miles before I time travelled to the next day. So for the next in-game day, I have a couple of things that I want to get done before I time travel again. I want to try and get through the first few days as quick as possible. The airport is open and Blathers is here, so let's get to it. The first thing I do is go and clean up my house. I need to be careful with my storage because there will be no upgrading. Then it is time to go and see Blathers to get the shovel and vaulting pole DIYs. I head into resident services to see Timmy to trigger the shop task, and then I went around and collected some more building materials. I hit all of the trees that I could get to, and then I used my free Nook Mile ticket from Tom to go to my first mystery island. I only needed 16 more iron nuggets for the shop, and I was hoping to find a cutie on my first island. I did find Bo, but for some reason I left him behind. I don't know why. Anyway, I grabbed some materials, coconuts and flowers, then I headed home. I logged on again a little while later and went to see Timmy to get the plot for the shop. I didn't really know where I wanted to put it because I didn't have any idea on what was happening with the island at that point. So I decided to just put it in a random spot, and then future Beck can deal with that when she gets to it. I needed a spot for flowers, so I cleared an area on the other side of the river opposite my house. I can't buy flowers, so I need to duplicate as many as possible. Watering every day is going to be a pain, but I don't really have a choice. I've been placing any items that I get behind my house. I don't really have much. I spent a little bit of time earning some Nook miles, and then I go to see Gulliver, hoping he will send me something good. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. That was all for that in-game day, so I time travelled to the next day and I collected my 2000 birthday miles, and also Nooks Cranny is now open. I grabbed some cells to shell and then find my DIY before I head off to Nooks to go and meet Mabel. I go around and I hit my rocks and my trees, then I head to resident services to buy a Nook Miles ticket because I want to go to another mystery island to get some more building materials. I was also hoping to find a cute villager, but I didn't. I also grabbed a few more flowers while I was there. I see time to get the bridge DIY so I can get started on the houses. This is the only bridge that I will have, and I'm not going to be able to destroy it, so I need to be very careful about where I place it. I ended up putting it diagonally just near resident services. This way I can maybe waterscape a river or something around it. I go and get all of the plots of Tom, but then I have to try and figure out exactly where I'm going to put them. I have no plans at all for this island, so I just put them in random spots and I guess I'll deal with it on another day. I place plot 1 on the other side of the bridge in a spot where I can kind of have a path leading from the bridge to the house. I place plot 2 a little bit further down near the beach. And then for plot 3, I put that just next to the entrance. I grabbed building materials and my crafting table, and then I just got stuck right into making all of the furniture. I went to let Tom know that I was done because I've decided to just let them autofill, and then I also got my fencing while I was there. Now it's time to see who exactly autofilled these plots. We got Lily. So cute. So cute. Agent S. I can deal with that. Egbert. Another chicken.
Look at all those chickens.
I went and placed all of the fencing before time travelling to the next day. I spent a little bit of time gathering building materials and then I went to see Tom to do the customization workshop. I'm only going to have the 50 kits that he gives me, so I'm going to have to make sure that I use them wisely. Mabel is here for her first visit, so I went and grabbed a couple of things which I then promptly threw into the bin. Now I know I said I wanted to get the island to 3 stars today, but I think that's going to have to wait until tomorrow. I am officially done with the first day of my No Bells Island. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all of that stuff. Leave a comment and let me know how you think I'm going with this challenge, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye! Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. Now as you can see, Tom is announcing that resident services is going to be upgrading. At the end of yesterday's episode we were waiting for our 3 villagers to move in. I've accidentally logged in on the wrong day and they've already moved in, so time saver I guess. For today's episode we have one goal to get a 3-star rating. So I'm going to be focusing on getting our next 3 villagers, placing any furniture that I can find and building up the flowers. There will also be a lot of grinding for building materials and of course lots of time travelling. For this in-game day I just done a lot of the boring stuff. I hit my rocks, gathered some wood, and I earned some nook miles. I also spent a bit of time organising all of the flowers on the cliff tops. I've made a few spots around the island where I just have a bunch of them clumped together in the hopes that they're going to spread. I really don't like the windflowers except for the red ones, but I kind of have to work with what I've got. Once I have them all sorted, I make some watering cans, dump them around the island where I need them, and then time travel to the next day. So here we are, resident services is closed and we have Mabel here for her second visit. I don't really do much this day. I did go and water all of my flowers and I'm very happy to say that I have my first hybrid, an orange hyacinth. I grab my DIY and go and see who is crafting. I then go and see Mabel to buy a couple of things, which of course I then throw in the bin. Resident Services has upgraded and Isabel is here. We are getting closer to that 3 stars, but I have a lot of time travelling ahead of me, so let's get stuck into it. I still need to make sure that I do all of my day-to-day things, so first I go and water my flowers. Grab my DIY, hit my rocks, and check to see who's crafting. I head into Resident Services and check the recycle box and the ABD. I grab a few DIYs with nook miles. I like to have a variety of things around the island when I'm trying to get a 3-star rating. You've really got to keep Isabel happy. I go and see Tom and I get the DIY for the campsite. I craft it while I'm there and I also craft some manhole covers to place outside. I place the campsite on a cliff at the back of the island. Even though I can't buy any inclines, I'll only need a ladder to get to the campsite or some vines, so I'm not really too fussed about it. I earned a few nook miles and then of course I time travelled to the next day. Here we are for another day. The campsite is built and Mabel is here for her 3rd visit, so we're going to be able to get the Able Sister store. But you know, I've got to do all of my day-to-day stuff. I water my flowers, get my DIY and go and check to see who is crafting. I then head over to see Mabel so I can get the shop built. I ended up placing the plot just behind Resident Services. Like I've said before, I don't really have a plan for this island. I'm kind of winging it, so that is just where it is now. I grab my 300 nook miles from the ABD, then it is on to the next day. So here we are, it is Sunday and we have our first campsite visitor. Good things come to those who wait, so I'm going to go and do all of my day-to-days first. I water my flowers and I have another hybrid, a blue hyacinth. I grab my DIY bottle and go to see who is crafting. Then it is time and I am hoping with all of my hopes that I have that it is someone good. I mean, are you serious? I just cannot get a good campsite visitor. Where is Marshall? Where is Shep? I mean, what is going on? Where are the cutie pies? I know Rodney has a lot of fans, but I'm not one of them, okay? I don't think he's cute. But I guess I'm kind of stuck with him now. Okay, so the plot for Rodney is all sorted. As I said at the start of this challenge, buying plots is one of the very few things that I can spend bells on. So while I'm here, I'm going to get another one from Tom and I'm going to head off to a Nook Island. I found Bangle on the Mystery Island, not somebody I would normally go for, but I do need villagers. I also grabbed some resources and flowers while I was there and then time travelled to the following day. Rodney has moved in and the Able Sisters store is open. I really feel like I'm making some good progress so far. I go around and water my flowers, grab DIYs, and I also plant some more fruit trees. I then head into the Able Sisters to use the kiosk so that I can get the app for my phone. I see Tom to buy another plot and buy a Nook Miles ticket. After placing the plot down, I head off to a Mystery Island and then I leave empty-handed. Yes, I am being picky and I don't care. I go and order a couple of Nook Mile items from the ABD in preparation for 3 stars and then time travel yet again. The next couple of days were actually just a lot of me doing dailies and time travelling to get everybody moved in. So Bangle moved in, but the other plot didn't autofill because I don't have anyone in my moving queue. So I time travelled again, this time it worked and we're going to be having Mallory move to the island. And then it was just 3-star preparation. I made a heap of DIYs and placed them outside. I got all of my furniture and placed that outside as well, and I put out some more fencing. I then time travelled, I think it was about 3 days ahead because I wanted to make sure that Mallory had moved in and that all of the trees I'd planted had grown. Then it was time for the moment of truth. It was time to go and see Isabel. Now let me tell you, I was so excited about this. Given the challenge that I'm doing, I really did not think that I would get a 3-star rating on the first go. I thought that maybe it would be a 2. It was a very happy moment for me. I felt very accomplished after this. Then of course, Tom just loses his mind and calls KK straight away. Why didn't you just call him in the first place, Tom? Instead of making me do all of this work. So there you have it. Clochette has a 3-star rating. I had 1 goal for the day and I actually managed to get it done. Tomorrow is going to be a grind day, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to join me for that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also like this video while you are there. Thank you for watching and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye! Hello and welcome to day 3 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. At the end of yesterday's episode we got a 3-star rating, so now it is time for KK's concert. Okay, enough of that. We have seen it all before. Yesterday after I stopped recording, I cleaned up the island and I went around and picked everything up. So now I am just getting the Island Designer app from Tom. Then it is time to get to work. The first thing on my to-do list today is to make some axes and then get to chopping some trees. I'm going to cut down all but 10 hardwood trees and 10 pine trees. I'm then going to have them in a spot where they're all together and it is easy to go and shake them every day so that I can get my 2 furniture items. Then when I'm decorating, I'm actually going to be using fruit trees. That way I've got my non-fruit trees separate and I can still keep shaking them every day. I just need to make sure that at the end of the island, like when it's finished, I go around and I get all of the fruit off the trees before I set the dream address. Once that is all done, it is time for me to do my day-to-days. I need to shake my trees, collect my daily Nook miles, find my DIY on the beach, find a crafting villager, and water my flowers. I also had to play Tetris in my house. I can't upgrade it, so I need to be really careful with my storage and use it wisely. I ran around the island and completed a couple of Nook Mile achievements and then time travelled to the next day. So Isabel has some good news for us, Ordinances. That also means Cap'n, which means I will be able to start gathering different flowers and hopefully get some crops as well. I start this in-game day by doing all of my day-to-days. The items that I got weren't that great, but I'm gonna be honest, I just have to take what I can get. If I'm only going to be getting items from shaking trees and balloons, I'm going to have to get really creative. I'm also hoping that I'm going to be able to gather a heap of useful DIYs. I got lucky today. I watered my flowers and chopped some wood. Then I found a lost item. I will not be giving this back to the villager. I'm going to be keeping it for decoration. Now it is time for my first Cap'n tour. Because I'm not going to be upgrading the museum, I don't need to worry about finding Brewster. I just got a basic island, however I did find the bucket DIY, such a great item, happy with that. I also gathered some materials and bushes while I was there, and then it is time to time skip to the next day. The next few in-game days all pretty much went the same. I went and done all of my day-to-days and then time travelled to the next day. It was pretty boring. I honestly lost track of how many times I'd done it. I was also trying to complete any easy Nook Mile achievements along the way, because I can't spend bells, but I can buy DIYs and items with Nook Miles if I need to, so I'm trying to gather as many as I can. I was super excited to find potatoes on a Cap'n tour, my very first crop. Now I need to add watering crops to my list of day-to-days. Crops are a great decoration item, so these are definitely going to come in handy. It is another day, so more day-to-day jobs to be done. I got a great DIY, the decoy duck. I didn't get as lucky with the Cap'n Island today, but I did grab a heap of glowing moss and vines while I was there. The next Cap'n Island, however, sugarcane and tulips. Then of course there were more day-to-days to do and trying to earn Nook Miles. It was a very long, boring day. It is a new day, so I'm off to do my day-to-days yet again. I had Bengal ask to leave, so I let her go. I got tomatoes on my Cap'n tour. No good flowers though, just crappy old pansies, unfortunately. I spent a bit of time organising my flowers. I've got to try and grow as many as I can. I can't buy any seeds, and if I do find any in the recycling bin, I'm going to be using them for decoration. After time travelling one more time and then doing my day-to-days, I decided that that was going to be it for day 3. I may do some more off camera, I may not. I don't know. Today wasn't what I would call very exciting, but it sure was productive. I got some furniture, I got a heap of DIYs, I'm up to over 30,000 Nook Miles and I have crops now, which is really good. We've got potatoes, sugarcane and tomatoes. I did play for like 5 hours. It was a long day, but it was definitely worth it. So like I said, that is all for day 3. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can see how the rest of this challenge goes. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Bye! Hello and welcome to day 4 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. Now the goals I have for today are completing as many day-to-days as I can, so that's going to be a lot of time travelling. I need to check the empty plot to see who is moving in after Bangle left. I need to buy all of my terraforming permits from the ABD, and I want to get started on building the entrance. I did work on the island for a bit after I finished recording on day 3, and I found wheat on a cabin island. I spent a bit of time doing my day-to-days, gathering DIYs. I went to a cabin island and stuff like that. I then went back to resident services to buy all of the permits that I need so that we can start decorating. I also got the Custom Designs Pro app while I was there, so I decided to find myself something pretty to wear. Now I just need to find some shoes and a balloon and I'll be all set. Then it was time to go and get started on the entrance, but for some reason I just stood there for 25 minutes. Eventually I got started. Okay, so I have made a start. It is not completely finished yet. Ignore the fruit, I forgot to shake it, and then I also am waiting for a tree to grow here. I went and planted a heap of sugar cane to replace what I used, and then it was time for more time travel. I was doing a few day-to-days around the island when I realised that my empty plot was in fact still empty because Tom can just not do anything right. Flick was visiting, so I went to go and get a bug model made. I did keep a heap of bugs aside just for this, but I actually don't think I got that many done in the end. I seen Agent S for a DIY and then headed off to a cabin island. Unfortunately, it was just a basic one, but I did grab some more flowers while I was there. By this stage, I had been filming for about 4 hours and I was completely over sitting at my desk. So I decided to go chill out on the couch and play. I did grab a few clips, so here is what I got up to. I thought some time travel was in order to get some items and DIYs. So I figured I would travel to each bug off and just play the first round because they're free to see which items I could redeem. But then I realised I didn't actually want anything. I went to a cabin island and found carrots, then I time travelled to Halloween to get pumpkins and DIYs. Now I distinctively remember this being nothing but a pain in the ass. There was so much back and forth between me and the villagers with the candy. Like, oh my god, the candy. Then I had to buy that cooking thing with Nook Miles so that I could learn the spooky cookie DIY because they just kept giving it to me over and over again. They were driving me nuts. I did end up getting pumpkins, but for some reason I thought I was going to get all of the different colours. But that is Turkey Day, so now I have to go and do that as well. That is for another day though, that is not for today. That is going to be all for day 4, and honestly, I really don't feel like today was very productive. I'm most likely going to be tearing the entrance down and doing it again. My empty plot is still empty, and Halloween was nothing short of a pain in the ass. Overall, feeling a little bit disappointed. Hopefully day 5 is going to be much better. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye! Hello and welcome to day 5 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. So you may have noticed Frank wandering around. He is the one that filled the empty plot, but I don't seem to have any footage of me actually finding out that he was moving in. He's kind of just here. I have time traveled to Turkey Day so I can get DIYs and pumpkins, so let's get to it. I went to see Franklin and then got set to work gathering all of the ingredients. I honestly think I have only ever completed Turkey Day once, so the first time, and then that was it. After that, I just used treasure islands for everything, but I have not used a treasure island in such a long time. It has been months. I honestly cannot remember the last time I went to one. So anyway, what I was doing to get all of the pumpkins was this. I would go and see a villager and trade with them to get what I wanted, then I would plant it. I would then go and trade with another villager to get the same coloured pumpkin again. Then I would give it to Franklin so that he could make his dish and I could move on to the next one. It was a bit chaotic and a lot of back and forth, but it was definitely worth it. After about an hour or so, I was successful. I managed to get all of the different coloured pumpkins and all of the DIYs. Now, I do have a lot of stuff that has started to pile up, so with no storage, I decided to just go and dump it all on the beach. And I know I'm going to regret this down the track because it's going to make it hard to find anything, but I do it anyway. After watering my crops and my flowers, it is time to skip to the next day. I do all of my day-to-days and then head off to a cabin island. It wasn't anything special, but it was a chance to get some more flowers. Back on my island, I run around and I hit all of the rocks. Thankfully it is raining, so I don't have to do any watering. And then after making some tools, once again I time skip to the next day. It is raining again, which I like because sometimes I really just do not like going around and watering all of my flowers. I go to a cabin island where I manage to find roses, and then it is time to time travel to the next day. I need my pumpkins to grow so I can plant more, grow them, and then plant more and grow them, and so on and so on. You get the idea. Now, I've done all of my day-to-days again, but I'm not going to show you every time. It is kind of boring, honestly. But as you can see, I am taking down the entrance. I like it. It's just that, I don't know, I'm not really feeling it. It doesn't feel like that this is the final edit for the entrance. After clearing the entrance, I got started on flattening the island and filling in all of the rivers. I did get quite a bit of this on camera, but it was taking me so long to do it. I ended up going and just sitting on the couch to finish the rest of it.
2 hours later.
Okay, so that is all done. That was definitely a lot of work. I'm going to work on the campsite cliff when I get to this part of the island. I can just use vines to get up and down, so that is not going to be an issue. I have it marked out where I'm going to put the last 2 plots. Remember, buying plots is one of the very few times that I can spend bells for this island, which is what I'm going to go and do right now. After seeing Tom and placing the plot, it is time for my day-to-days again. It does get a bit annoying after a while doing the same thing over and over, but it needs to be done. I time travelled to the next day and my plot has an auto-filled, but I went and seen Tom and I bought another one anyway. I also ran into Agent S who said that she wanted to move, so I was like, okay, bye. I placed the last plot, done all of my day-to-days, and then time travelled to the next day. Alright, so it is the next day and the plot has filled. The villager moving to Clochette is Cat. I run around and do my day-to-days. Super exciting. I then time travel again and surprise, surprise, my plot is still empty. Plus, I think Agent S has gone now, so that's 2 plots that need to be filled. I have a campsite visitor, Bettina, who for some reason I do not invite to move in. I don't know why I didn't do that. But I think that's going to be all for day 5. If you want to know who is moving to the island, you're just going to have to watch tomorrow's episode. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hello and welcome to day 6 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. My goals for today in no particular order are to make sure all of the plots have filled, start on the pathing, decorating and cliffscaping, time travel to fall so I can collect DIYs and materials, and then of course do all of my day-to-days. So not much really, let's just get to it, shall we? I started off by running around and doing all of my day-to-days. I noticed that Egbert was sick, so I made a mental note to make sure that I went back with some medicine at some point. And I found hydrangea bushes on my cabin tour, easily the best ones in the game. I grabbed a Nook Mole ticket in the hopes of maybe finding my sister fruit or bamboo island. Unfortunately, I did not. I did find Quinn though, who I left behind. I grabbed some flowers while I was there and headed home. I grabbed another Nook Miles ticket. I found Marcy on this island and I most definitely left her behind. It was just a terrible island really. It was a crappy villager, no DIY, useless furniture, and I couldn't catch any trash in this pond except for one tyre. And I normally have a lot of good luck on this island, so I was pretty disappointed. After I was done on the island, I time travelled to May 1st, and can you believe it? Both of my plots were still empty. It was really starting to get to me now and I had to fill those plots. I mean, I had to. It was driving me crazy. I quickly ran around and done all of my day-to-days and then I time travelled again. Only this time I went backwards and it actually worked. So we have Maddie moving to the island. I time travelled back to May 1st and this other plot was still empty.
It's just so annoying.
So I bought a Nook Mile ticket and I said, whoever is on this island, I am just going to invite them to move in. Because honestly, this was taking up way too much of my time. But it was just bothering me so much, I had to make sure that those plots filled. Welcome to the island, Rasher. Then after spending a bit of time finding and sorting out custom patterns, it was finally time to start decorating. Again. So the entrance is coming along nicely. I am so glad I redone it because it looks so much better now. After replanting a heap of crops, it was time to get started on the terraforming and the pathing. To save on time, I'm going to have pieces of pathing leading to the houses rather than having one continuous path around the island. I'm also going to be leaving it blank. I do end up going back to the entrance and digging up the flowers and removing the custom paths that I've put down. It looks really pretty, but it just takes so long to do it, and I can't do that around the whole entire island. Now it's time to do a little bit of work on the campsite. I also worked on the area around the Able sisters, but I just couldn't get it to work, so I ended up tearing it down anyway. I did run around and do a few bits and pieces around the island, but before I finished for the day, I wanted to go back and finish off the entrance. So I decorated the cliff tops that I have next to resident services. Then finally, after a chaotic day of laying down pathing and terraforming, the build is finally done. I have these empty spots on either side where I might extend the garden out yet. I'm not really sure. We'll have to see about that. I feel like today was messy, but very productive. Day 6 is over, only 4 more days to get this island done. Can I do it? I honestly don't know. Like and subscribe to find out, I guess. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hello and welcome to day 7 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. We have a lot of decorating to do. I only have 4 days left and I haven't even finished the entrance yet. I really gotta get my butt into gear. Here are some items that I found on day 6 after I stopped recording, and I've also tried to organise my flowers a bit so hopefully I can clone some more. My main goal for today is to basically decorate the island as much as I can. I'm also going to make sure I keep doing all of my day-to-days because if I don't, I'm quickly going to find myself running out of things. So I spent probably the first 2 hours of day 7 doing exactly that. Shaking trees, going to Cap'n Islands, watering my flowers, all of the things. And then time travelling to the next day to do it all over again.
Are we really doing this again?
When it comes to challenges like this, it is all in the prep work, which is kind of unfortunate because it's super boring.
2 hours later.
After doing that for quite a while, it is finally time to get stuck right into it. The first thing that I decided to do was extend on the entrance build. I really liked it, but I just felt like it needed a little bit more, so I added another row of garden beds on either side. It honestly didn't really take that long. I just added a few bits and pieces and then it was time to get started on Lily's yard. The first thing I done was put in a few ponds. Waterscaping is going to be my best friend on this island. I mean, I figure if I get stuck with a spot, I can just put in a pond, you know? Can't figure out what to do here? Build a river. Have a massive area that I need to field? That's okay, I'm just going to waterscape a whole entire lake. Easy. Anyway, I decided to keep this area fairly simple. Even though I've been doing my best to collect items, I don't have any really great ones, you know? So I'm going to be relying on flowers, custom patterns and DIYs a lot. But even then, with the DIYs, I need to be careful so that I don't burn through my materials too quickly. So here we have Lily's build is all finished. There are still a few empty spaces here and there, but they will get filled as the whole island build goes on. Now I'm going to be working on Goose's yard. I wasn't really sure what to do with this river mouth here. I ended up just leaving it filled in so it can be a nice little fishing spot. I really like Goose's house. I love the colours even though I'm not normally a huge fan of red. So I decided to go with a red theme for him and I built him a nice little flower garden. Now that Goose's house was all done, it was time to move on to the next one. But actually, before I get to doing another yard, I do have a lot of time traveling that I need to do. I spent a few days doing all of my day-to-days and then I time traveled to September. I'm trying to find certain flowers and bushes and I'm not really having much luck in fall. And I'm gonna have to be honest, I had about 3 hours of footage of me just being a hot mess. I was doing so many random things, just running around, time traveling, and even sometimes just standing there, doing nothing. And I was like, Beck, literally, what are you doing? Nothing. That's what. B moved out at some point and Sprinkle moved in. No idea when that happened. Egbert was sick again. Like, seriously, go to a doctor already. I don't know. It was messy. It was so messy. Eventually, I did get back to building, but first, I had to clear out this area here. And then here we are, finally ready to decorate. For Frank's yard, I'm going to build him a small cornfield garden thing. I really like the colour of his house, even though it is so very yellow. I'm going to be using sugarcane and yellow hyacinths. I have done this before and I really love the look of the green and yellow together. It just works. Frank's build is all done and I think it turned out great. I am going to be moving on to Nooks Cranny, but first I just need to do this little spot here. Okay, so moving on to Nooks, and this place is a mess. I need to dig up and replant all of these crops. This is the most annoying part when it comes to decorating an island. It's all of the digging up and moving of the plants, the trees and the flowers, and you need to do it constantly because it doesn't matter what you do, they're always in the way. Now I do have quite a bit of room here, so it's going to be a few different builds in this one area. Starting at the front, I'm going to plant a flower garden where you can come and buy flowers. My theory is that Timmy has a bit of a green thumb and he likes to breed and sell his flowers as kind of like a side hustle. And with all of this space here, it is just prime real estate for the taking.
That one's a nice deep red. And that one's rustic with a wood finish, which I quite like. They're similar, but they've all got their own personality. That's just the start. There's different chimneys and lampposts and different cars and plants breaking up the pavement. You're getting it already? Don't get me wrong, Trollberg's still less interesting.
I've planted all the flowers that I can for now. I am going to have to keep watering to get the last few that I need. The garden isn't 100% finished yet, but I'm going to move on to this area for now. I'm going to do something that I always do. I'm going to put a heap of things outside and make it look like the boys are having a sale. Anyway, that is going to be all for day 7. I have gotten so much work done today. If I can keep this up for the rest of the island, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get it finished within the 10-day time frame. If you want to find out if I do, you better make sure that you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like this video while you are at it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! Hello and welcome to day 8 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. Now I am not freaking out at all, not in the slightest. Everything is under control. I do not have almost an entire island to decorate in just 3 days. Oh wait, hang on. Okay, so we know the deal. I need to get this island finished. So the plan is to obviously just decorate. I also, of course, keep doing all of my day-to-days as I'm going, which does take up quite a bit of time, but I do have to keep doing them. So after getting them done for the day, it is time to get back into it and finish Nooks. After working on Nooks Cranny for a while, I got a bit stuck on what to do with the space, so I decided to have a bit of a break and go and work on Mallory's house, and I will get back to this build a little bit later.
I've been in love several times before.
Now that Mallory's house is done, I've actually moved to the other side of the island, and to start off this area here, I'm going to work on the river mouth.
How did you know when you were in love with Dad? I've been in love several times before.
Behind the museum, I'm going to put a heap of trees to give it the effect of kind of being hidden amongst like a small forest. Some of the trees I want stunted, so I plant some fruit and then time travel a few days ahead, and now that my trees have all grown, it is time to get stuck into decorating. The museum is done, so I'm going to be moving on to Quinn's yard. I already have a small cliff top here, but I decided to extend it, which actually turned out to be a complete waste of my time because I ended up knocking it down and just leaving the small one there anyway. Looking back on all of this footage as I'm going through it, I wasted so much time on this island. It was ridiculous. But what are you going to do? You know, there isn't anything I can do about it now. The area here on the corner of the island isn't attached to anybody's yard, so to fill in the space I'm going to build a small community garden. Alright, so I think that might be all for day 8, and I don't know about you, but I'm really happy with the way that the island is looking so far. I think she might be cute. I could be biased, you know, because it is my island, but I think it's looking pretty good. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. Today was a very productive day. I got a lot done. Hopefully day 9 is going to be just as good. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Hello and welcome to day 9 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. There's a lot of work to be done, so let's go. Now, am I going crazy or is this island not going to get finished? I have so much to do. Here I am going on and on about how much progress I've been making. Nuh-uh. Do you see the purple? Do you see it? None of that is done yet. And I'm on day 9 of a 10-day challenge. I really don't know if it's going to get done. Doing all of these dailies takes up so much of my time and time is running out. Beck, get it together. So first things first, I need to go and finish Nooks Cranny. Now that Nooks Cranny is finished, I'm going to work on a few of the smaller forgotten areas around. This way the whole entire front of the island is completely finished. After doing a bit of pathing and terraforming around my house, I have this area here that needs to be filled. I ended up building a pond and then placing a small bakery out the front of it. And as small as this build is, it is actually one of my favourite spots on the island. I just think it's really cute. That area is all done and I'm now working on the small space behind the cliffs next to resident services. I had a few musical instruments lying around, so I decided to have like a little busking area, which is something I've never really done before. I never have any use for the instruments, I always just throw them away. Then next to that I have made a bike rental. Unfortunately, I didn't come across a bike the whole entire time I was filming this series. I have now moved on to Sprinkle's yard. I am just all over the shop today. Poor Sprinkle is a little bit out of place being a blue penguin on a full island, but it is what it is. I decided to put all of the mushrooms that I've been finding to good use and make a mush garden. I'm also going to be including white flowers and pumpkins, so my theory is this kind of represents the snow that Sprinkle has been missing from home, maybe? Now onto the last build of the day. I am going to add in a soccer field. In my honest opinion, no island is complete unless you have a soccer field on it somewhere. It's just a pity that I didn't come across a soccer ball. With this build nearing the end, that is going to be all for day 9. Not as much done today as I had hoped to get done. This was what it was like at the start of the day. This is what it is now. I'm going to build a big lake in the corner to fill that area, but then I still have all of this that needs to be done. And I only have 1 day to go. Am I going to get it finished? I don't know. I guess you're going to have to tune in tomorrow to find out. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye! Hello and welcome to day 10 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. So I don't think I'm going to get this island finished. at least not today anyway. These are all of the areas that still need work. Here is Abel's, which I done after I finished recording on day 9. But look, there is simply too much to do for one day. But I guess on the bright side, that means that you get to see another video from me. Lucky you. I knew it was a stretch getting this done, but I tried and it is going to be finished whether it is today or tomorrow. So let's get to it. After doing all of my day-to-days for a while, it was time to get stuck into the first build of the day. I'm starting at the back of the island and working on the campsite. I don't really have a plan with what I'm going to do with it. I mean, it's a campsite. I'm going to make it look like a campsite. Now that the campsite is done, it is time to move on to Rodney's yard. Now his house is next door to Egbert and they have the bridge in front of them, basically right in the middle. So I'm going to do a bit of waterscaping and make a pond to fill in the space and separate their yards. I don't want them right next to each other, you know, I want to have something in the middle to kind of give the appearance that the houses are a lot further away than what they actually are. For Rodney's yard, I'm going to make him a vegetable garden. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but I actually don't have any of those on the island yet. Now we're moving on to Egbert's yard. Now Egbert is our resident lazy and he likes to keep a messy house. And not just on the inside with his dirt floor and all of his bugs, but on the outside as well. So much so that he just has stuff lying around everywhere. The messier, the better. Alright, so Egbert's house is done and so is day 10, the last day, but this island isn't finished yet. For whatever reason, I barely got anything done today and there is still all of this to do. I didn't succeed like I had hoped in getting this done in the 10 days, but you know what? I think I've still done a pretty good job considering the circumstances. I honestly just tried my best and that's all I can do. Anyway, so that is going to be all for today. Feel free to join me tomorrow for day 11 of completing an island in 10 days. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye! Hello and welcome to day 11 of completing an island in 10 days without spending any bells. Yes, you heard right, day 11. This whole 10-day challenge didn't really pan out for me, so I'm sorry for all of the clickbaity titles. 10 days was the goal. I just didn't quite reach it, that's all. But that's cool, that's cool. I'm still going to finish this island, so let's get to it. I did do a couple of builds after I finished recording on day 10, so let's go and check them out. Here behind Rodney and Egbert's I have made a small flower meadow. It needs more flowers though, so I'll have to keep watering them and hope that they grow. Behind Sprinkle I have built a small playground and then I have also lightly decorated the peninsula. But I still had so much more to do. I remember this day very clearly because it was so stressful. I was basically chained to my desk and I only got up to eat and go potty. That was it. I had to get this island done though, I had to. So let's get to the first build, Cat's house. I had already started to terraform this cliff at the back here a while ago, so before we do anything we need to get this finished first. Now onto Cat's front yard. Because this is where I've been storing all of my spare crops, I'm going to have to move them anyway, so I figure I might as well use them and make a vegetable garden. The vegetable patch is all done, so I'm going to work on this small area here. Cat has a lot more space than what I actually thought. For this area here, I'm going to make a little outdoor dining area because Cat is all about farm to table. For this spot here, I have just made a small pond and a garden, and this is going to be an extension of Egbert's house. I have this area here at the front of Cat's, and I've decided to make this a part of her yard as well. I'm going to use the pumpkin carriage that I got from Halloween. I figured this can be her stall where she sells all of her fresh produce. Okay, we are getting there. Now I have this random spot here that doesn't really have a purpose. It's kind of just in between Cat's house and the campsite. So I'm just going to do a bit of waterscaping and make it look pretty. I'm now going to move on to the flower meadow. I still need a heap more flowers, so I go around and I do a heap of watering. I then head off to a cabin island so that I can stock up on trees before time travelling to the following day. Luckily for me, it's snowing, so I don't need to do any more watering. I put down a few custom paths, but then I was just kind of all over the place. I cleaned up out the side of my house and I placed a few trees here and there, and then I worked on this small space next to the Able sisters. But then I don't know what happened. because the next recording I have, the flower meadow is almost finished and my house is already decorated. So one of three things has happened. I sat down on the couch and decorated for a while because I got sick of sitting at my desk and I forgot to record any clips of it. I accidentally deleted it, which for me is actually a really big possibility. Or I simply took a break and then forgot to press record when I came back. Anyway, the point is those builds are done, so now we are on to the last one. This was by far the biggest build of the island, but before I get into it, I need to clean the area. So first I'm going to waterscape the lake. This is going to take up a bulk of the area. Now I am not a fan of waterscaping. I am one of those people that constantly covers the water when I don't want to, and I have a lot of trouble making things look natural. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. I worked on the outline and I made a few islands of land in the middle. I wanted to decorate them first before I waterscaped the rest of the lake, but I was running low on flowers. And I mean, I had a ton of red flowers, but I barely had any white or yellow, and I didn't have any bushes that I liked. I couldn't find any on the cabin islands, and I think that was because of the time of the year I was in, so I time traveled back a few months, and oh my god, my island kind of slays. I love the way it looks with the green grass, it is so cute. After spending a few days going to cabin islands and getting what I needed, it was time to go back to May and getting stuck right into it. After decorating the islands, it was time to finish the waterscaping. Man, I tell you what, that was a lot of work. But now that the waterscaping is done, it is time to get stuck into the decorating. The first area I worked on was along the front, where I made a pathway and added in a small fishing pier. I made another simple pathway up the side in between the lake and the campsite. This leads to a small area where you can access the ocean, so maybe it's like a little diving spot for the villagers. I also added in a small cliff top with a waterfall to help fill in the space and also give the area a little bit of height. Down behind Nooks, I'm just filling in this small area. This is just going to be a cute little picnic spot. Alright, I am on the home stretch now. I am nearly done. Along the back I'm going to plant a veggie garden and lightly decorate the secret beach. I thought putting in a lake here would take up a heap of space and save me time, but there is still so much room in this back corner. Okay, so the veggie patch is done, so now I need to work on this area behind Rash's house and then at the front. But I've done it again. Here I am working on the front yard, and as you can see there is a cliff top behind Rash's house. It is clearly later in the day, so I possibly may have, maybe, I don't know, forgotten to press record. Again. Anywho, this is the last build besides the beaches, so let's do this. I have a lot of red flowers left over, and seeing as Rash's house is red, I figured I might as well make him a red flower garden. But before I get to that, I'm just going to make him a small sitting area next to his house. It is a new day because I had to go to a cabin island to get some building materials. I'm out of just about everything at this point, but I'm nearly done, not long to go now. And with the last few items, this build is done. That took a long time. The island isn't finished just yet though. I still have to clean up the beaches and decorate the inside of my house. I done this from the comfort of my bed though, because by this time it was about 11 o'clock at night and I was exhausted. So I will see you in a few moments, ready to tour the finished island. So here we are, Clochette is officially completed. I had so much fun with this challenge, as stressful as it was. I had been wanting to do a challenge that had, I suppose you could say, a drastic rule in it. I've done other challenges where there's been like no terraforming or no time travel, but not being able to spend bells was pretty restricting. I had to be very consistent in doing all of my dailies to collect items, DIYs, materials and nook miles. And I couldn't throw anything away, because what if I needed it? No matter how random an item or whether or not I had ever used it before, I had to keep everything. But then I was like, where am I going to put it all? I couldn't upgrade my storage, so there was just stuff dumped around everywhere, which made my life very difficult. As for the time frame, 10 days wasn't enough, okay? I think I bit off more than I could chew with that. I was pretty disappointed that I didn't get it done in the 10 days, but I still feel like I accomplished quite a lot. Some days I filmed for only about 3 hours, while other days it was closer to 8. I think that last day I was there for about 11 hours. So I probably could have handled my time a little bit better, and if I had done that I might have got it done in the 10 days. But honestly, I still think I'd done a pretty good job. Now, to prove I did in fact follow the no bells rule, here is what I have spent. I spent, I think, like 300 bells for the slingshot DIY. And then I of course spent money with Mabel to open up the Able Sisters, which now that I think about it, I didn't really need to. I could have gotten away with not having that, but I think the shop is really cute and everything that I bought from her I threw out anyway. And let's not forget I bought the last 4 plots of Tom, but that's it. Everything else was either shot down from a balloon, shaken from a tree, found in the recycling bin or gifted from a villager. The DIYs were the same. I either found them on the beach in balloons or I got them from villagers. All of the bushes were from Cabin Islands, as were the flowers, while I of course cloned as many as I could. And nearly every tree on this island is a fruit tree, seeing as I couldn't buy any saplings. Now the question remains, what is my star rating? The night that I finished the island after I stopped recording and I went to decorate the beaches, I couldn't help myself. I went and seen Isabel. And Clochette did indeed receive a 5-star rating. I was so excited, but I couldn't celebrate with anyone because it was midnight and everyone was asleep. So let's celebrate now. So there we have it. I did indeed complete an island and get 5 stars without spending any bells in 10+1 days. This honestly might be my favourite island that I have ever done. I mean, who doesn't love a good fall island? So for the last time for this series, that is all for today's video. And I just want to thank you all so much for your support. At the time of recording this part of the voiceover, it is currently day 8 of the challenge. And it has been really nice to see you all enjoying the series. And I really appreciate all of the love. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.